For more than a century, scientists believed they understood the saber-toothed tiger. Museums displayed its skeleton, while textbooks confidently explained how this predator hunted across the Ice Age world. Entire documentaries repeated the same explanation again and again. But that understanding was built on a single assumption, and that assumption turned out to be completely wrong. The animal most people call the saber-toothed tiger may be one of the most recognizable predators in Earth's history. Those enormous curved teeth turned it into a symbol of the Ice Age almost everywhere in the world. For decades, researchers believed those teeth explained everything about the animal. Yet the fossils themselves were quietly telling a very different story. The first surprise is simple. The saber-toothed tiger was not actually a tiger at all. It belonged to an extinct group of cats known as Macarodons. Scientists identified 3 major species within the most famous genus alone: Smilodon gracilis, Smilodon fatalis, and Smilodon populator. Each species lived in different environments across North and South America during the final stages of the Ice Age. At first glance, Smilodon looked similar to a modern big cat. But paleontologists studying the skeleton more closely noticed proportions unlike anything alive today. The largest species, Smilodon populator, weighed up to 440 pounds, heavier than many modern lions. Yet its legs were shorter and far more heavily built. The shoulders were enormous. The forelimbs were thicker than those of any living cat. Those features suggested something unusual. This was not a predator designed for long chases across open ground. It was built for strength. For decades, scientists believed the saber teeth functioned like delicate blades used to slice soft flesh carefully. Those teeth reached nearly 11 inches in length, almost as long as a standard ruler. Early researchers imagined the animal avoiding violent struggles because the teeth appeared too fragile to survive heavy impact. According to that idea, Smilodon hunted cautiously and relied on precise attacks against restrained prey. Modern research gradually destroyed that explanation. A biomechanical study examining Smilodon's skull mechanics revealed something completely unexpected. The jaws themselves produced less bite force than a modern lion. A lion can crush bone directly with its bite. Smilodon could not. At first, this discovery confused scientists because the animal clearly evolved to hunt enormous prey. But the answer was hidden somewhere else in the skeleton. The true weapon of Smilodon was not its jaws, it was the neck. The anatomy of the animal was built around a devastating downward strike powered by massive neck muscles and reinforced shoulders. Researchers discovered that the jaw could open to nearly 120 degrees, almost double the gape of a modern lion. This allowed the saber teeth to clear the lower jaw completely before the strike landed. The hunting sequence now looked completely different from what scientists originally imagined. Smilodon likely used its thick forelimbs to grapple prey and force the victim off balance. Once the animal lost stability, the predator drove its head downward with explosive force. Those 11-inch saber teeth then penetrated vulnerable soft tissue around the throat and major blood vessels. Instead of crushing prey through bite force like a lion or hyena, the kill depended on precision and massive upper body strength. That discovery changed everything. The saber teeth were never designed for chewing through flesh or cracking bone. They functioned more like specialized biological blades. A carefully placed strike could sever arteries and weaken even the largest herbivores within moments. The attack was fast, violent, and terrifyingly efficient. Every part of the body supported this strategy. The forelimbs were thick and muscular, which allowed the predator to pin struggling prey against the ground. The shoulders stabilized the body during violent grappling. Even the flexible spine helped control sudden movements during close combat with animals that outweighed the predator many times over. This was not the body of a pursuit hunter. Modern cheetahs can reach speeds approaching 70 miles per hour across open plains. Smilodon was built for explosive ambush attacks, lasting only seconds. Success depended entirely on concealment and positioning. The predator needed to strike before the prey fully understood what was happening. The Ice Age world provided many opportunities for exactly that style of hunting. Around 20,000 years ago, North and South America were filled with enormous herbivores. Mammoths weighing up to 13,000 pounds crossed frozen grasslands in massive herds. Giant bison moved through open valleys. Ground sloths, stretching nearly 13 feet long, wandered through forests unlike anything alive today. Every one of those animals represented both opportunity and danger. A failed attack against prey that large could easily cripple the predator. Smilodon required tremendous precision during every hunt. The wrong angle or poorly timed strike could snap the saber teeth completely. That danger may explain why the predator evolved such overwhelming forelimb strength in the first place. The hunt likely began in silence. Smilodon remained motionless inside dense vegetation or broken terrain while enormous herbivores passed nearby. Muscles stayed tense beneath thick fur as the predator waited for the perfect moment. Then suddenly, the attack exploded forward with a level of violence the prey barely had time to process. The collision itself may have knocked smaller prey off balance before the saber teeth ever struck. Powerful forelimbs wrapped around the victim while claws gripped thick hide. The herbivore struggled violently to escape, but once the predator secured control, the head dropped downward with terrifying force. In a single motion, the saber teeth drove deep into vulnerable tissue, while blood loss rapidly weakened the prey. Unlike modern big cats, Smilodon did not rely on repeated biting. Everything depended on that single devastating strike. For many years, researchers believed Smilodon hunted entirely alone. But fossils discovered at the Brea Tar Pits in California raised an entirely new possibility. The tar pits preserved thousands of Ice Age animals trapped in natural asphalt deposits over tens of thousands of years. Among those remains, paleontologists uncovered more than 2,000 individual Smilodon skeletons, far more than any other large carnivore discovered at the site. That raised a major question. Why were so many individuals gathering in the same place over such long periods of time? Researchers examining healed fractures in ribs and limbs discovered evidence that severely injured animals survived for weeks or even months after catastrophic wounds. Some individuals showed signs of injuries that would have made hunting almost impossible alone. That survival hinted at something remarkable. At least some Smilodon may have lived or hunted cooperatively. Group behavior could explain how injured individuals survived long enough for their bones to heal. It would also dramatically change how scientists understand the predator itself. 440-pound predators working together could potentially overwhelm prey far larger than any single cat could handle alone. Mammoths, giant bison, massive ground sloths. Once separated from the herd, even gigantic prey animals would struggle against the combined grappling strength of multiple Smilodon. The Ice Age ecosystem created constant pressure for predators to compete over enormous prey. and cooperation may have given Smilodon a decisive advantage in that brutal environment. For thousands of years, this predator dominated across 2 continents, but the world supporting Smilodon eventually began to collapse. Around 12,000 years ago, the Ice Age climate shifted rapidly. Glaciers retreated, grasslands disappeared. Entire ecosystems transformed across North and South America within a relatively short geological period. Many of the enormous herbivores Smilodon depended on began vanishing from the fossil record. That change created a catastrophic problem. Smilodon evolved specifically to hunt massive Ice Age prey. Without mammoths, giant bison, and other large herbivores, the predator lost the ecological conditions its entire body was designed for. One by one, the specialized advantages that once made Smilodon terrifying became less useful in the rapidly changing world. At the same time, another predator was spreading across the continents. Humans. Early human hunters entered the same landscapes where Smilodon once ruled. Unlike previous predators, humans hunted cooperatively with advanced tools and coordinated strategies. Their arrival added even more pressure to ecosystems already collapsing under climate change. Gradually, the fossil record shows the Saber-Toothed tiger disappearing. One of the most specialized predators in mammalian history vanished alongside many other giants of the Ice Age. What remains today are fossils still revealing new clues about how this extraordinary hunter once lived. Modern research completely transformed the image of Smilodon. Scientists no longer see a slow, awkward cat carrying oversized, fragile teeth. Instead, they recognize a powerful ambush predator built around explosive grappling strength and one of the most specialized killing techniques evolution ever produced. Every part of the skeleton now makes sense within that hunting strategy. New CT scanning technology allows researchers to examine ancient bones in ways impossible only decades ago. Tiny wear patterns on those 11-inch saber teeth reveal details about feeding behavior that earlier paleontologists could never detect. Subtle damage inside fossilized joints now provides clues about movement and hunting mechanics hidden for thousands of years. The deeper scientists study Smilodon, the stranger the animal becomes. Fossils discovered far beyond California reveal that Smilodon survived across an enormous range of environments, stretching from the frozen northern plains to the forests of South America. That adaptability suggests a predator far more intelligent and flexible than researchers originally believed. Rather than surviving in one narrow habitat, Smilodon adjusted its hunting strategy across 2 continents for millions of years. Very few predators maintain dominance for that long without extraordinary specialization, and yet even after more than a century of research, scientists are still uncovering new details hidden inside the bones, which raises an even more disturbing possibility. If researchers misunderstood one of the most famous predators in Earth's history for over 100 years, then how many other prehistoric monsters are still being interpreted completely wrong today? Because the next discovery may be even more terrifying than the saber-toothed tiger itself.